Have you ever wondered how the heart of a woman reveals truths that even time cannot erase? There are moments, quiet, unspoken moments, when her actions whisper something deeper than words ever could. In a world of fleeting affection and masked intentions, how do you truly know when a woman loves you? Not with her lips, but with her soul. Type this in the comments if you've ever questioned love's sincerity. Show me love, not with words, but with presence. And if this question resonates with something deep inside you, don't just sit with it, like this video, not for the algorithm, but because somewhere in the depths of our shared human story, love still matters. And today, we're about to explore it like never before. This isn't just another list. This is an unveiling of ancient wisdom, Stoic truths, woven into the fabric of something as tender, mysterious, and powerful as a woman's love. Love, through the eyes of the Stoics, wasn't a fleeting romance. It was a mirror, one that revealed who we are, what we endure, and how we grow. And when a woman genuinely loves, her soul becomes a silent oracle, showing you things words cannot capture. You see, we often chase signs, texts, compliments, sweet gestures, but miss the sacred language hidden in everyday acts. What if I told you there are 7 subtle, soul-stirring things a woman does, not to impress, but because her love is real, ancient, and unshakable? In the next few moments, you'll discover things you may have overlooked. The way she listens when you fall silent, the patience she holds when storms come, the sacrifices she makes without seeking recognition. These aren't just habits, they are echoes of something eternal. But here's the catch. You must learn to see with more than your eyes. You must feel with more than your emotions. You must understand with a kind of wisdom the modern world has nearly forgotten. We will dive into the roots of love as seen through the eyes of Epictetus and Marcus Aurelius. We'll journey into the ruins of lost civilizations, where the sacred feminine was once revered as divine. We'll unveil how ancient Stoics understood connection, not as dependency, but as a sacred alliance of souls. This is more than a video. This is a rite of passage into understanding love through a lens untouched by vanity, ego, or illusion. Stay with me, because once you see these signs through the lens of wisdom, you'll never unsee them again. You'll recognize them not just in others, but in yourself. And maybe, just maybe, you'll finally understand what it means to be genuinely, soulfully loved. Shall we begin? In the ancient world, love was never seen as something trivial. It was sacred, it was dangerous, it was transformational. Long before romantic love was reduced to swipes, texts, and fleeting attachments, it was viewed as a force of nature, something that could build empires or destroy them. The Stoics understood this deeply. They didn't shun love, they feared its power, but respected its potential. And when a woman gave her love fully, the Stoics saw it not as possession, but as a profound act of alignment, a harmony between souls. The philosopher Epictetus once warned, "What upsets people is not things themselves, but their judgments about these things." And yet love often bypasses judgment. It pierces through logic. It transcends appearances. In the eyes of a woman who truly loves, there is no calculation, only clarity. But here's what most people don't know. The Stoics, despite their reputation for restraint, believed that love, in its purest form, was a teacher. A woman's love, when authentic, was not a reward. It was a test, a reflection, a sacred signal from the universe, revealing to you the parts of yourself still needing to grow, to evolve, to heal. In ancient Greece and Rome, The feminine was seen as a channel to the divine. The goddess Sophia in Gnostic tradition represented divine wisdom, not cold logic, but intuitive knowing. She didn't speak in commands. She revealed herself in symbols, signs, actions. In much the same way, when a woman genuinely loves, she embodies this ancient archetype. Her love is not loud. It doesn't demand. It simply is, steady, quiet, undeniable. But somewhere along the winding road of history, we lost that lens. The sacred feminine was buried under conquest, control, and confusion. Women were taught to seek validation through performance, and men were taught to measure love through possession. What was once sacred became transactional. What was once intuitive became procedural. Yet the ancient Stoics would ask you to look deeper, to stop judging love by the surface, gifts, words, declarations, and instead to observe the consistency of presence, the resilience of attention, the silent sacrifices made without ever being named. Marcus Aurelius, who ruled not just with power but with reflection, once wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." A woman in love begins to carry your pain as her own, not because she has to, but because her soul, without effort, mirrors your burden, not out of duty, but devotion. And this devotion isn't loud. It doesn't boast. It doesn't ask for applause. It simply flows. In Eastern traditions, this was called yin, the receptive, nurturing force that balances the yang, not weak but wise, not passive but powerful in its patience. And when a woman operates from this place, when her love is rooted in a deeper awareness, she does not need to convince you. She doesn't try to make you see. Her actions become the message. What we're about to explore in this video are not psychological tricks or emotional games. They are symbols, ancient echoes of truths long buried beneath noise, distraction, and modern misunderstandings. They are signs that a woman is not just interested in you, but that her soul has recognized something eternal in yours. And that recognition is rare. This kind of love doesn't scream. It resonates. It doesn't fluctuate with mood or time. It persists like a quiet flame in a storm, asking for nothing but deserving everything. So as we begin to break down these 7 sacred signs, remember, you are not simply learning about what women do. You are remembering what love is, not as taught to us by society, but as it was once known by those who walked in silence, who studied the stars, who listened not just with ears, but with spirit. And through that lens, what comes next may change how you view love forever. There is a certain stillness in the actions of a woman who genuinely loves. It's not theatrical. It's not curated for display. It flows like water, soft but unstoppable. And the first thing she does, often unnoticed by those who are not present enough to feel it, is this. She begins to protect your peace more than your pride. Not your ego, not your status, but your inner world. She senses when your spirit is restless, even if you hide it well. She softens her words when the world has already hardened you. She makes space for your silence, not demanding you to explain, but waiting patiently in your quiet. That's not romance. That's reverence. In Stoicism, peace of mind, ataraxia, was considered the highest pursuit. And when a woman sees you as more than a role or a resource, when she begins to honor your mental clarity as much as her own needs, that is the mark of someone who loves with depth. She has studied your storms, and instead of fearing them, she quietly builds shelter. But this sign is only the beginning. When a woman truly loves, she doesn't compete with your solitude. She joins it. She doesn't fill the space with noise, with demands, with distractions. She can sit beside you in total silence and feel complete, not because she lacks emotion, but because she understands the language of presence. The Stoics spoke often of retreating inward, of maintaining a citadel within the self. Few people, very few, are comfortable near a man who values silence. But a woman in love, she respects it. She even guards it. Her comfort in your solitude isn't passive. It's powerful. It shows a spiritual maturity that modern love rarely celebrates. She does not crave constant reassurance because she is attuned to something far greater. Your essence, not your performance. Now listen closely. When a woman is genuinely in love, she begins to mirror your pain, not mimic it, but hold it with you. If your father disappointed you, she becomes more patient. If your dreams are slow to manifest, she becomes your echo, reminding you of your vision when you forget. She doesn't solve everything for you, but she refuses to abandon you in the shadows. This is an ancient trait, seen in the stories of Penelope waiting for Odysseus, not in weakness but in unwavering strength. Stoic endurance, a kind of soul loyalty modern culture has forgotten. She endures not because she has no other option, but because she chooses to stand beside someone whose soul she believes in. It's not about being a savior. It's about seeing you fully and remaining anyway. This kind of woman will not always shower you with poetic words, but she will notice the little things, your routine, your rhythms, the way you look away when something wounds you. And rather than press for explanation, she adapts, quietly, lovingly. She doesn't want to fix you. She wants to understand you, and here's the most astonishing part. She begins to grow into the future version of herself, because she sees a future with you. Not a fantasy, not a fairy tale, a future. She invests in herself, not to impress you, but to match you, to walk beside you as an equal. A Stoic woman doesn't wait to be carried. She prepares to journey with you. She begins new habits. She refines her thoughts. She listens, not to react, but to align. This is not infatuation. It is inner work, a sacred evolution ignited by authentic connection. And all of this happens quietly. Because real love doesn't announce itself. It reveals itself. In the silence, in the sacrifice, in the still moments when she chooses you, not with declarations, but with decisions. A woman in genuine love becomes a reflection of your inner world. She senses your chaos, but doesn't run. She sees your wounds, but doesn't recoil. She chooses your truth over her comfort again and again, and yet she asks for nothing in return. Why? Because to her love is not a bargain. It is a vow, one not spoken in words, but etched into how she shows up, day after day, in the small, often invisible ways, like pouring water over a seed no one else believes will bloom. And the truth is, most will never notice. But if you've ever felt it, truly felt it, you'll know, and you'll never confuse it with anything else again. Love, when it is real, does not shout, it whispers. And yet, in those whispers, entire worlds are revealed. The next thing a woman does when she genuinely loves you is subtle, but cosmic in its depth. She begins to reveal her vulnerabilities, not all at once, not for sympathy, but as a sacred offering. You'll notice it in the way her voice softens when speaking of her past, in the stories she's never told anyone else. She shares her scars, not to seek validation, but because her soul has decided it's safe with yours. This is not fragility, it is courage. In the Stoic tradition, to be vulnerable was not weakness, it was wisdom. Epictetus taught that we must not be afraid to show our imperfections, because that's where character begins. So when a woman opens her inner world to you, her doubts, her dreams, her hesitations, it's not small talk, it's sacred trust, a deep unveiling, a ritual of intimacy that modern relationships too often overlook in favor of shallow connection. And when you truly listen, when you hold space instead of fixing, you become her sanctuary. Not because you rescued her, but because you witnessed her. Now observe something else, equally profound. She begins to speak to your higher self, even when you've forgotten it exists. When you're stuck in doubt, she reminds you of the fire she sees in you. When you falter, she doesn't blame. You already carry enough of that yourself. Instead, she points to the mountaintop beyond your fog. A woman in love becomes a guide, not through commands, but through clarity. Marcus Aurelius said, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." She lives by this. She doesn't argue for your greatness. She assumes it. And in her presence, you feel called, not pressured, to rise. This is not manipulation. This is mirror work. She reflects the man you could be until you remember him for yourself. But her love does not stop at support. She will challenge you, gently, but without compromise. When your words and your actions misalign, she will call you back, not out of criticism, but care. She respects you enough not to let you self-destruct. In this way, love becomes an awakening, a push against complacency, a refusal to let you sleep through your own potential. And this challenge is sacred. It echoes the Stoic concept of prohairesis, the rational faculty, the part of us capable of choosing our character above all else. A woman who truly loves you doesn't settle for who you are when it's easy. She loves the part of you still becoming. She sees your soul like a sculpture waiting to emerge from the stone. And if you can bear the weight of that reflection, you'll grow in ways you never imagined. But let us speak of the rarest sign. A woman in love will forgive, not foolishly, but freely. She does not hold your past against you like a weapon. She does not use your wounds as leverage. When she forgives, she does it not to excuse, but to elevate. She chooses to see your mistakes as moments, not definitions. This doesn't mean she tolerates harm or betrays herself for your comfort. True forgiveness in her eyes is an act of strength, a return to harmony. And only a woman who has done her own inner work can forgive in this way, because she knows love cannot exist in a prison of resentment. And now, perhaps the most mystical act of all, she begins to create beauty around you, not extravagance but atmosphere. She puts thought into the spaces you share. She creates rituals, small gestures, routines, moments that nourish your soul without you even realizing. This is an echo of the ancient feminine, the priestess energy that turns every mundane act into sacred rhythm. Whether it's lighting a candle before dinner, remembering the name of your childhood pet, or playing a song you mentioned once in passing. These are not decorations. These are love's fingerprints. In ancient households, the hearth was kept alive by the feminine, feeding the fire, tending the warmth, sustaining the spirit of the home. And when a woman genuinely loves you, she carries this ancient energy into your life. You may not see it at first, but you'll feel it in the way your world begins to settle, in the calm that returns to your breath. She becomes the quiet anchor, not clinging, not chasing, just being. You begin to realize her love was never loud because it never had to be. It was never about proving. It was about presence. And when you look back, when you trace the timeline of your own becoming, you will notice she was always there at the turning points. Not ahead of you, not behind you, but beside you. Not asking for recognition, just offering a kind of love the Stoics would have bowed their heads to. Now that you've glimpsed the sacred signs, you may be wondering, how do I respond to a love like this? How do you honor it, protect it, and grow with it, without drowning it in the noise of fear, pride, or habit? The answer, as the Stoics would say, is not in more action, but in right action, purposeful, present, aligned with virtue. You see, when a woman loves you with this depth, she is not asking for perfection. She is asking for presence, for attention that is undivided, not distracted, for commitment that is chosen daily, not promised once and forgotten. And that starts with cultivating stillness in yourself. Stillness is not passivity, it is clarity. It means setting aside the urge to always fix, to always react, to always be doing. It means learning to see her, really see her, in those quiet, ordinary moments where her love speaks the loudest. The way she adjusts the room to fit your comfort without a word. The way she asks about your dreams, even when hers are heavy. The way she holds your pain without making it hers. Most men are too busy scanning for dramatic gestures that they miss the sacred ones. So here is your first practice. Develop the art of sacred observation. Each morning, ask yourself, what is she offering that I've been too distracted to receive? Write it down, reflect on it, then return that energy, not with performance, but with reciprocity. If she brings peace, be peace. If she brings clarity, offer stability, not as a trade, but as a dance, an unfolding of energy. The second practice is even deeper. Train yourself to hold space for her truth without defense. When she expresses pain, don't flinch. Don't try to solve, just witness. The Stoics taught that emotions are not the enemy, our reactions are. If she trusts you enough to share something difficult, respond not with solutions, but with stillness. Listen as if the divine were speaking through her, because often it is. Hold her hand, look into her eyes, say only what is true. This creates safety, and love cannot thrive where there is no safety. Third, make the invisible visible. Most of what she does in love will not be seen by others, but you must see it, acknowledge it, not just with thank you, but with deep presence. Bring back the ancient ritual of appreciation. Leave her a note when you leave in the morning. Tell her what you noticed, not just what she did, but how it made you feel. This awakens the feminine spirit like nothing else. It reminds her that she is not pouring into an empty well, but into a soul who drinks deeply and honors the source. Fourth, lead yourself. A woman who loves with depth is not looking for a savior. She is looking for a man who is accountable to his own soul. That means you do not become dependent on her energy to feel whole. So cultivate your own. Practice silence, meditate, read ancient texts, strengthen your body and discipline your thoughts. When you lead yourself, you give her the freedom to rest in her feminine. She no longer has to guide your every step, because you are walking with intention. This is what allows love to flourish. Two sovereign beings choosing each other again and again. Fifth, protect the temple. Modern life will try to desecrate sacred love. Distractions, temptations, ego, and stress will knock at your door daily. You must guard your connection like a flame in a windstorm. This means setting boundaries, not just with others, but with your own habits. Protect the time you share. Turn off the world. Create rituals together. share a cup of tea in silence, walk under the moonlight, pray together in whatever way your soul knows how. These are not luxuries, they are anchors. They remind you that this love is not ordinary. It is not to be consumed, it is to be cultivated. And finally, the deepest practice of all, be the mirror she can trust. When she looks into you, she must see a man who knows himself, who owns his darkness without shame, who speaks truth without cruelty, who shows up not only when it's easy, but especially when it's hard. A man who does not need her love to feel whole, but who receives it as the divine blessing it is. Because when you become that man, her love will amplify you. It will strengthen your resolve, soften your rough edges, inspire your greatness, and in return, your presence will become her sanctuary. This is how love was once understood by those who walked the earth before us. Not as possession, not as performance, but as partnership in the soul's evolution. She grows because you grow. You rise because she believes. Together you become something neither of you could be alone. A sacred echo of the divine union, rooted not in fantasy, but in truth. Now take a breath. Let everything settle. Because what you've just heard isn't simply a list of behaviors or romantic gestures. It is a map, a sacred one, not toward a woman's heart alone, but toward the very core of what it means to be loved, to be seen, to be chosen in a way that transcends modern noise and touches ancient silence. Love, when it is true, is not loud or chaotic. It's not measured in flowers or anniversaries or perfectly timed words. It is measured in energy, in quiet acts, in hidden sacrifices, in how two souls learn to move through the fire without losing each other. The Stoics understood this. They did not write poems about love the way others did, but they lived it in their philosophy, because for them, love was not about possession. It was about liberation. It was about choosing a partner who reminded you of your highest self. A woman who genuinely loves you will not complete you, because she knows you were never incomplete. She will not fix you, because she honors the sacred imperfection that makes you human. She will not try to mold you into someone else, because her love is not sculpting, but seeing. And your job is to be awake enough to recognize that miracle when it stands before you. Many men will overlook it. They'll chase noise over stillness, drama over peace, attention over truth. They will treat love as a game, a conquest, a checklist, and in doing so, they'll miss the rarest experience this life has to offer: to be loved without condition and to rise into the man that love believes in. So let this be your silent vow: to notice her, to hear what isn't said, to make room for her spirit, not just her presence, to grow, not because she demands it, but because her love makes you want to. And if you're not in this kind of love yet, then prepare for it. Become the man who is ready to meet her. Build your mind like a temple. Discipline your emotions like a warrior. Live your days like a man who walks with the gods. Because when she comes, and she will, you must be able to receive her, not with bravado, but with reverence. Now take this message deeper. In the comments, tell me this: real love feels like. Complete the sentence with your truth, your vision, your experience. Speak it into the world, and you may awaken someone else's heart in the process. And if this message stirred something within you, if you felt the echo of something ancient and eternal, then honor it, like this video, not as a click, but as a signal that you too are one of the few who understands that love is sacred, that you don't seek quantity, you seek quality, not performance but presence. And if you haven't yet, subscribe. This space is not for everyone. It is for those who are ready to remember what the soul has always known. Because here, we do not chase love. We become worthy of it. And in that becoming, we discover that love was never outside of us. It was the fire waiting to be lit within. Until next time, walk gently, speak truth, and never forget, you are already becoming the man that sacred love seeks.